Hey, what's going on? The Brew Dude's back here with another brew reveal. What I do in this brew reveals is share with you my upcoming beer reviews. That way you have an idea of what's coming up. I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I know we're closing about 9 p.m. Pacific time. So on the East Coast, it's probably about to go to the next day. But Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you enjoyed a nice meal or two or three, because I know I did. So before we move forward, I'm gonna pour myself a little something. I usually pour myself a little beer, but I did have a heavy meal. Went to this big buffet and had 4 or 5 dishes, and my stomach is a little full, and I had a lot of dessert. So I'm gonna pour myself a little something to settle my stomach. All right. Okay. So we have a lot of good beers coming up the next few weeks. From the Dudes Brewing, international beers, American beers. So let's get started with something really, really, really local to me. We have the Dudes Brewing. Dudes Brewing Company in Torrance. Went there for my birthday, picked up a bunch of beers. So what we have first is the Dudes California IPA. It's a California style India Pale Ale made in Los Angeles County. Okay. Based on the website, they use a plethora of hops, West Coast hops specifically, a plethora of West Coast malts, specifically West Coast. It's 6.9% by volume. It's high up there for India Pale Ale, but it is a California IPA, so they want to pack a punch. California, bad traffic, good beer. Truth, we do have horrible traffic. It's made in the USA, in Torrance, California. It's all brewed and it's all canned there. Another West Coast IPA. Nope, here is 16 ounce of pure California IPA. You can visit the Dudes Brewing Company. Has a lot of good beers. They do have a lot of different beers, which are great. I bought every single beer that they have there, and you'll see some of them on my channel that I've already reviewed. But this one I will be reviewing soon. So while we're still here in Torrance, California, we have another of the Dudes Brewing Company. This is a Martin style beer, an Oktoberfest beer. I know we're in November, but hey, I'm still going to drink it. It's called Schnitzengigel. Okay, this is a German style Martin, German specialty malts Oktoberfest. It's 4.8% ABV. Okay. Nice graphics. They have even both bottles from the Dudes Brewing Company. Spend a lot of time on the graphics of the can. I've had the other beers. They're very good. So they do spend a lot of time on the actual brewing of the beer. It's an awesome brewery. It's good to see that it is brewed and bottled all in the same place. Okay. Another beer that we have next is probably one of my favorites that I have out there. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, so it's hard for me to say one of my favorites because I do have a lot of them. But they're all different styles, and this one's one of my favorite nitro beers. This is the Guinness Draught. Okay. This is a nitro CO2, perfectly balanced, smooth, sweet, coffee, malty beer. Established 1959. Okay. This here has a 4.2% alcohol by volume. This is not the typical can it comes in. This is the special edition can. It's usually black. But this one's pretty cool. Has the Guinness Draught, has a nice little turtle or a tortoise with a pint of Guinness right on top. Brewed in Ireland by Guinness and Company, St. James Gate, Dublin, Ireland. Pasteurized stout. Inside, there's a little nitro capsule that when you do open and pop the beer open, it releases that nitro right into the beer, which gives it that smooth creaminess, and that gives it the unmistakable creamy head that a Guinness should have and has. Right. Hopefully your Thanksgiving was as good as mine. Like I said, I ate so much. Man, pie, meat, pies, puddings, dressings, chicken, steak. I ate everything. I'm telling you, that buffet is amazing. It had everything that you can think about. And I went all out. I went pretty crazy, that's for sure. I think I had like four plates. I know it's a lot, but hey, it's once a year, right? But that's how I eat all the time. But anyway, let's move forward with the beer. So what we have next here is the Einstock Icelandic White Ale. Okay. It's bottle conditioned. What it means is once it's brewed, it's put in a bottle and it's let to sit and carbonate. Essentially, that's kind of what it means. The conditioning can have many meanings, but that's typically what it is. They let it sit in there. It's unfiltered and is unpasteurized. You can actually see here. You can see the fill line is pretty high. It's typically really low, so the bottling is, you can tell, is very organic, very by hand, and or very small in when it comes to manufacturing it. The fact that it's bottle conditioned, you're going to have a crazy amount of sediment that you can actually see. I can see the sediment down there. It's like a little cake. So before you even have this beer, you want to go ahead and roll it a bit. That way that sediment gets mixed around. A lot of people are like, well, do you drink the sediment? It's dead yeast. It's this, it's that. I mean, yeah, it's the flavor of the beer. You know, the yeast is what breaks it down. It helps carbonate it. It helps give it the alcohol volume. It gives it the complexity of the beer. So you want to mix it in there. So I would probably even hold it upside down for a little bit or roll it. You can probably put a towel and then just roll it side to side. That way you get to mix all the sediment in there. They use oats. They use citrus and spice. Other things they use, apparently this is a classic wit beer. So you're going to have that coriander. Here on the label, it shows ale brewed with coriander and orange peel. Okay. This Einstock Icelandic White Ale. So they use the mold of a wit beer and created this beer. I've never had it. I've had the toasted porter from the same company, which was amazing. You'll be able to see it in one of my reviews that I have on my channel. So I'm very excited to try this here. They have many more. They have the Doppelbock and many other beers. Based on the website, pairings for this beer would include Mexican food, Indian food, and Thai food. So what it looks like is food that have a lot of spices, that use many different types of spices, and adding the coriander, orange, unfiltered, unpasteurized would fit probably perfect. Right. Nice label. Elegant. Elegant. Look at that. Clean. All right. The next one that we have here is Cooper's Brewery. This is the original Pale Ale. All right. Australian. Produced and bottled by Cooper's Brewery, Regency Park, South Australia, Australia. And it's imported over here by Total Beverage Solution. So this beer has fruity and floral notes, crisp bitterness, 4.5% ABV, real Aussie ale. This is bottle conditioned as well here. So what they do here is they actually pour it in the bottle, and once again, they let it take the next process of the brewing. So what, for example, without getting too deep into it, you brew the beer, and then from brewing the beer, you usually put it in some fermenting vessels. And after the fermenting vessels, you put it in another vessel to carbonate it. But by bottle conditioning is you add it to the actual bottle itself, and then you let that last process take its place, whether it's aging or whether it's carbonating or whatever the case is. So which will give you all this heavy, heavy sediment that's down there. Oh man, it looks like dirt down there, which is awesome. Pairings for this one include fries, salad, chicken, seafood. I've never had this one either. Here, it's very, man, it's hard. I don't know if you can see it, but the sediment in here almost looks like ash. It's like heavy, heavy, heavy particles. Almost like if you left water in a bucket and it rusts. That's what it looks at the bottom. There's rust down there. I'm excited to have it. I like the sediment in beers. That's where the real flavor is. So just to kind of correct something, this one is the bottle conditioned one, and the Icelandic Einstock White Ale is just unfiltered and not bottle conditioned. All right, so we have Anderson Valley here. Okay, Barney Flats Oatmeal Stout. This here is a 5.8% ABV. It's not as bitter, only have 14 IBUs in international bitter units. Classic example of oatmeal stout, deep ebony hue with a dense, voluptuous mahogany head. Aroma of fresh baked bread, toffee, raisins, dried cherries, and dark coffee. So this beer is very complex. Probably took a long time, not to brew, but to age. Usually for very complex beers, you want them to age for a while. You can tell here this is this is Anderson Brewing Company in Boonville, California. You can actually see how the label's put on kind of very homemade, little sticker, not even on straight, which is fine. You know, the labels don't usually match up. There's more space there, so it's like they're bottling it really fast. There's a bear with antlers in the flats drinking water. They use different malts. I really like when breweries share their ingredients. You can share the ingredients, but there's a process to make it. Just like two bakers, you give two bakers the same ingredients, the same process, and they're going to taste different. So they're not scared to share their ingredients. They're not scared to show how much they put pride in their ingredients. They have two-row malts. They use crystal malts, 40 and 80. They use roasted barley, Munich malt, chocolate malt. I mean, they use a lot of different malts. They use Columbus hops and Northern Brewer hops. I don't know their hop addition, where they added, but at 14 IBUs, that's very, very low. They probably use it more just as a noble hop spice to carry out the beer. But regardless of that, I'm glad that they share the ingredients. 5.8% alcohol by volume. Anderson Valley Oatmeal Stout. So there it is. The next lineup of beers for me. These beers I'm probably going to be tasting, next couple weeks. I just finished the last batch. I posted the last video a few days ago, so you can check that out. I'll try to add the link on here. That way you can go back and check that batch out. Other than that, I do want to say happy Thanksgiving for all of you. I hope you enjoyed it. For those of you on the East Coast, I know the time is, the next day now, but I'm pretty sure you enjoyed it. I'm going to enjoy my little drink here, settle my stomach, and have the rest of the good night. With that said, guys, thank you for watching. Look out for these beers that are coming up soon. And with that said, the Brew Dude is out.